2 minutes. It was kind of crazy. ROCCAT looking to do the same. Last game, by the way, Zach was open. But we were so tunneled on Xayah and Rakan being available that we completely missed that Zach wasn't banned.
Deficio, G2 and ROCCAT have been nice enough to take that distraction away from us. G2 banning out Rakan first. Xayah banned away on the side of ROCCAT. Xayah are going to follow. We've got the Kennen. We've got the Fiora coming in as well.
Okay.
Taking Foxy off those carry picks.
Zach is still open now. Now we're looking for that Zach. Come on, Lulex.
Come on.
Must have been practicing it in solo queue. I mean,
think of all the different paths you can take with the leap.
Okay, Thresh. I mean, Thresh is still good and Mithy is your support, but still, Zach is open. See, we're making up for lack of saying Zach is open from last game by saying it a lot now.
A lot now. Guys.
That's not Zach.
No. Zach is open.
He's hovering green champions and then Elise. He wants Elise again.
Elise. And to be fair,
I know you want Elise in, but come on.
It didn't start out great for Pride starting the early game. He was not the incredible aggressive early Elise that we normally see, but he did land those cocoons when they mattered.
Oh yeah, it was a farming Elise. I don't like farming Elise. I like farming Zach. That's very good. I want to see more action from Pride Stalker.
Deficio,
he's a man we're tracking.
Have you let the people know how you feel about Zach yet?
I like Zach. We saw him in the LCK. It was hilarious to watch him just stomp everyone. G2 though, they're sticking to this very strong late game. Orianna scaling, blind pick from Blank here.
And the interesting mix-up here is that now we've got a little bit more of this kind of wombo combo scenario.
Ooh,
if they can
Betsy.
find someone to dive the bot or back line to set the Galio up. But you're right, Betsy, Lucian now locked in.
Yeah, Lucian mid is what we see often pick now against Orianna here in Europe. Yesterday we had it as well from Senkux. I'm pretty sure he wants to forget that game. He died a few times early and then woo, that game ended quickly. But if you are ROCCAT now, you pick 2 AD carries, you can ban away other AD carries. Gotta respect Kalista Thresh when you play against Sven and Mithy.
Kennen already off the board too, so no crazy reckless picks gonna come out, although Tristana.
Yeah, could just ban like a Varus here. Obviously both Varus and Ashe could work for Sven, so he's probably okay losing a Kalista. Feel like there's still good AD carries for him.
I feel like we want to see something aggressive coming in here for Sven.
Twitch. Nah, Varus, come on.
So bad against the Doran shield, though.
Just take Varus. You can actually try and win the bot lane 2v2, and then that is your win condition as G2. It's not go 45 minutes into the game, but it's actually trying to win the 2v2 on the bottom side. Which is why ROCCAT might just ban Varus here. Reminder again, G2, no bans phase 2. Oh, the ban Ashe. Interesting. I just removed Varus, but...
Going forward, Ashe, interestingly, now banned out on the side of ROCCAT, so that one's still up and available. Would rather see the Varus potentially in the hands of G2, as G2 taking their time on this first pick.
Well, yeah, they have to let the time run down.
Oh, it's the second ban.
Yeah, they can't actually ban.
Yeah, all right.
So ROCCAT gets their pick. We know the mid laner, we know the AD carry, we know the jungler. Can just show support here if they want a last pick top for Foxy, but they're probably expecting to be Galio top, so they already know the matchups. G2 are not trying to hide any lanes, really, at this point here.
Just trying to pick what they can get. Now it's going to be Foxy on the Shen.
Zach.
Up against Sendo on the Galio.
You know what's great against double AD carry? An unkillable tank.
Uncc'able.
Yeah, that one too. They have already one unkillable tank. Why not add another one?
What if there was another tank who could leap into the back line to set Galio
could
up?
Follow. And then Orianna Ball could also follow. It's almost like Zach would work. All right. Let's see.
Kog'Maw.
All right, late game, baby. No, that's not Zach.
This time, it's protect the Sven with less shields and more damage. All right, G2 mixing it up. Definitely a lot of options here. So we have a full comp now on the side of G2. It feels like let the Kog'Maw scale, let the Orianna scale, and then just out-execute as we move later in the game. But ROCCAT, they got a lot of tools to pick people off. They got the Elise, they have the Malzahar to set this up, and they definitely have the damage to back it up with the Caitlyn, with the Lucian.
Yeah, chaining a lot of CC again, as you highlighted. Caitlyn traps, Malzahar ulti, Cocoon, taunt from Shen. Same kind of thing where if they hit one guy, they're probably going to try and kill, but difference is the Galio in here from G2 will, of course, be the big tank in the front line they didn't have at the last game, which made it a bit easier for ROCCAT to chain CC down these squishy targets and kill them. Not as easy now with Galio in there, but G2's come like against a lot of late game, and it's very little protection for each other. I think Thresh is a jack of all trades. Yes, he can peel a bit, yes, he can engage a bit, but he's not the guy who saves your AD carry if he's getting chain CC'd. Because you obviously need to be able to actually click the lantern to get out with it. So if Sven gets caught again, there's no shields this time around other than an Orianna ball and that little lantern shield he gets to really keep him alive.
Risky gambles here on the side of G2 and ROCCAT. They got some power in their hands. Caitlyn for Hjarnan, if they can make it to the late game. Wadid, we've seen him be an aggressive Malzahar player, and now this is your chance, folks. Now with the appropriate picture, Sendo, Lulex, Blanc, Sven, Mithy, this is G2, and if you believe in them, hashtag G2win at LOL Esports on Twitter is the place. On the opposite side, hashtag ROCCAT if you think it's going to be the quick 2-0, because we're getting ready here for game 2.
Worth highlighting, though, the damage reduction from that Galio ulti to once again protect either Blanc or Sven could be key for G2. And the late game mission, once again, we want to see action from ROCCAT. Way more action than the first 20 minutes in the last game. You got aggressive mid lane pick. You got Elise jungle. You have Malzahar. Give him level 6 and he can force fights. ROCCAT, we want to see you play much faster in that early mid game.
In this case, you should blow both flashes on the aggressive all-in level 1, right?
The Malzahar level 1?
It's like Rakan, kinda.
Kinda.
I mean, not at all, but in spirit.
In spirit, I don't know, man.
All right. So we're not going to see the same.
To be fair, though, I've seen your
aggression.
support style.
Yeah, I've seen your AD carry style, Mr. Go Invisible as Twitch and leave me to die. Don't you bring that up here.
Hey, I'm maximizing farm. I don't want to die so I lose out on farm.
I don't want to die either, man. Why you got to leave me all the time? All right. It's not about us, Deficio. It's about ROCCAT. It's about G2.
Oh, Sven, this hurts my heart.
Is it the Doran Shield
Doran
or the Pugma?
Shield,
Oh, okay,
the man who went on Twitter to say he refused to buy this item. He didn't buy it last game on Caitlyn when Doran's played, which I think is smart on Caitlyn. I don't think you need to go Doran Shield every time, like we see from Hjarnan here. But Sven, realizing the item is just pretty damn broken to just get it if you need scaling.
And look at this. Guys, Malzahari's got a DOT, maybe he's got a Deathfire touch to back it up. Basically, you get 2 health per second anytime you get hit. And if Malzahar is going to do, I don't know, 10 damage per second, 20% damage reduction on Malzahar.
It's also great with Thresh as your support because he's not really healing you anyway. Mithy and Hjarnan kind of finding each other in here. And he's been on holiday, guys. He's been on holiday.
I feel really weird about this Pugma skin against the Caitlyn. It's a little too old yeller for me. I still can't believe we made that skin. I can't either. But here we are, dog versus gun lady.
I don't know if a gun lady is a thing, like...
Sheriff? She's a sheriff. She's a sheriff.
Yes. I want to see those... I want to see this jungler here, Pride Stalker, because this bot lane is actually not that interesting compared to the last one with Rakan and Xayah, so we don't need to see it and watch it.
It's not going to be nearly as explosive.
But level 3 Lees with double buff. That's what we want to follow. Pride Stalker got the first game on stage. It's gone now.
And we look at it too. If he can get to bottom lane, if he can land a cocoon, Wadid gets a silence, Hjarnan gets a trap, somebody dies.
Or you go top lane, you can actually early gank the Galio with the Shen taunt. Mid lane, we've seen the Lucian Elise combo multiple times work against Orianna to put a lot of pressure on her. A little bit harder for Pride Stalker to gank compared to last game, but we want to see him be active.
But a lot less threat from Lulex this time around. Kha'Zix not known for being really an early powerhouse, not known to just outfight an Elise, especially when she has a Spiderling. So it feels to me like he can maybe gank a little more aggressively without fear of a counter gank.
I mean, yeah, Lulex wants 6 before he really wants to do anything and start dueling people left and right. Baxi and Sendo going crazy in the top lane.
Sendo looking much more comfortable in this matchup, however.
With 3 minutes into the game.
I mean, to be fair, last time he was taking some pretty rough trades.
That's true. He lost his tower, too.
Yeah.
After they did roam top and kill. Now, Pride Stalker, he's aggressive. Jump to the blast cone. It's a trick you can do on Elise. Use the blast cone to then normally get into.
He also did this last game, and it looks like Lulex has figured it out and adjusted. But now he's waiting. Maybe looking to force a gank here.
Yeah, I
G2
love that
already
ward.
warded it out,
That is a smart ward. G2 knowing, okay, he can path, dragon, jump to blast cone. We even see some mid laners go down and kill that blast cone if they're against Elise, knowing she can jump to it. But Blanc didn't do that in this game. So this time around, Wild Pride Stalker, to his credit, he was looking for the gank. Didn't manage to find it.
I also think this is really smart pathing from Lulex. He knows that he's weaker in the early game, just opts for a safe full clear, and because of the ward, they perfectly counteract the Pride Stalker's early aggression.
Smart pathing and Lulex, they do fit together every time.
Transcendent. Euphoria. Well, Lulex.
He's still mad at Pride Stalker, by the way. He's lost almost every game he's played against Pride Stalker when it really mattered. That playoffs in EUCS with Schalke. Now this first game here.
Now spotted out as well.
Oh, he wants him.
Hunger in the eyes of Lulex, but no red buff.
Oh, Pride Stalker is smart.
Inside.
He's smart.
Blast cone to make it to safety.
He knows. Oh, he's behind him. He's sneaking in.
Ready. But the cocoon comes down. Trying to walk off. The Raptors are now attacking Lulex, but a decent amount of healing comes out. Lulex smiting up. Blanc is here as well. A little bit of an overstay from Pride Stalker. He's going to go down. That's first blood for Blanc. That's the start G2 wanted, but here comes Betsy.
Oh, Betsy, though, he's alone.
Ignite goes in. Now Blanc's just going to hit him and has a blue buff.
That was... That was a bad play from Betsy, and it just cost him both summoners. All Lulex had to do was jump out using his little E right there. Didn't even have to use flash. Love the early trading between the junglers, but then it's because Blanc can move first. Two guys who do not scrim with each other managed to win that 2v2 skirmish around the mid lane in favor of G2. First blood for the Orianna. So scaling, it's enabled already.
And that's aggressive. It's hard to have the confidence, the knowledge of your champion to know you can face tank an Elise Cocoon. You can give her all of her spells on a setup and still come out on top with the support of your mid laner. So definitely G2. We expected maybe ROCCAT to be the team that after game one would get more comfortable, start to step it up. But it looks like G2 are the guys who are already looking so much better on stage.
Yeah, and just so bad for Betsy now, losing both summoners and not getting anything in return because he came in so late. Should just stepped away and said, you know what, I can't do anything here. And it now means he can't really play too aggressive in the mid lane. And Pride Stalker, it's hard for him also to gank mid when this Lucian can't really help him. So he's calling for some more help. Lulex, though, spotting them with the vision plant here. And love to sneak around with Lulex up top lane. Knowing, okay, Pride Stalker just did his crux. He's going to be on that Raptor camp. Sneak down behind him, take the 1v1, call for the mid laner as well.
And that's a huge time investment. If that goes wrong, it feels so bad for the team. But as we start to check back in on other lanes, things still very even across the map. And despite my praise earlier for Sendo doing well on the top side, he is still suffering in the farm department.
For now, he's doing just fine, though. I mean, you just wave clears Galio. The thing about Shen is, Shen right now, after so many nerfs, if you fail your first two ultis, you're just out of the game. You're just completely useless. Galio will be so much better in actual team fights. And Shen just relies almost purely on his ulti. People pick him because he's a very safe laner, because the ulti is still very impactful. But due to the very long cooldown on it after the last nerf as well, it's a hard champion to actually execute, and we see him fail more often than we used to on stage. And same at MSI, like so many Shen games was like he was useless.
And it just feels like a lot of that is the introduction of Galio as well, right? Just in a lot of ways a better Shen in what he offers. Not the global utility, but more reliable immediate CC. That said, Foxy's still looking pretty comfortable in this matchup. Maybe he can find those early impactful ults, but the team already being in a deficit definitely does not help that.
Nope, and if Foxy goes to mid lane, that's where Galio often can follow with his ulti, so it's bottom lane you're looking at. Lulex once again pathing into the jungle of Pride Stalker. No defensive vision for Pride Stalker.
If he had stayed in that bush 1 second longer, he would have seen Pride Stalker.
But you can't waste time when you're maximizing farm.
God, bad.
We should add that every time we talk about him.
Super Saiyan of pathing. All right. Memes aside, Lulex putting a little pressure down on the top side, ready to gank if the Shen does want to overextend. Pride Stalker continues to clear out, and across the board, things look pretty even. But decent CS advantage for Hjarnan on the bottom side, small advantage for Blanc as the even wave connects. Nothing too aggressive. Lulex stealth out, leaps forward, pull back. Lucian now in trouble. There goes the first Shen ult. Could be crucial. Lulex backing off. Pride Stalker dishing out damage with the red buff. Does manage to connect the Cocoon. Blanc going to cleanse out. Flash to safety. Spiderling going to poke down on Lulex, but no one's going to drop. Yeah,
Foxy's ulti was interrupted top by Sendo as well. They stood on top of each other when it actually happened. But the shield at least came in to help ROCCAT in that mid lane. I like the play from G2 to try and force something against the no-flash Lucian. They get Shen ulti out, which is important because TP is on cooldown from Foxy. So it's actually G2 now with the TP advantage, which makes it hard for ROCCAT to force a play on the bottom side, which in return gives Sven more time to farm.
exactly what they need in that department, but Blanc's going to be the one who suffers in mid lane. We look at it, no cleanse, no flash. Tough spot to be, but you got playmakers on your team in other areas if you're the side of ROCCAT. One of them, of course, Wooddeed. Last time, it was the Rakan. The first appearance we've seen in EU LCS, and you see why it is banned away in this game. 100% kill participation, making the plays happen, and now another playmaker in his hand in the form of Malzahar.
Yep, this time instead of flash Wing, you flash ulti on Malzahar. Not as fancy looking, you don't get as many members with it either, but it's still such an effective way of engaging, and Malzahar is a champion that kind of fell out of favor for a lot of mid laners after a ton of nerfs to his laning phase specifically.
Oh.
Betsy didn't get that one.
That's rough.
It's not been a fun game for the Lucian.
No, definitely not.
It's like, even though he's even in CS, like, you want so much more when you pick Lucian. You are a snowball.
I mean, when we saw this matchup at MSI, we saw a lot of deaths for that Orianna. Not able to get the same impact from Betsy quite yet. Blanc holding his own, despite the lack of experience on an LCS stage. Clearly very comfortable in these mid lane matchups.
So I think I like his build as well. Get the lost chapter. Remember, is it lost the last chapter?
Lost chapter.
Why don't we just make it lost last chapter?
Because not everyone loves alliteration as much as you, and Betsy does not like Kha'Zix ganks. Nice sidestep on that. Now going to pull him back. Now it's Pride Stalker in trouble. Ignite's taking on Lulex, but it's not really going to make a difference. What goes up must come down, and down goes Pride Stalker.
Yeah, Blanc and Lulex are outplaying Pride Stalker and Betsy in this game. Two guys who do not scrim together, who do not play in the same team normally. They just got together today to play here because G2 needed members.
And we're talking so much about G2, but we said it in the last game, we should say it again here. For the other three members not on the starting lineup for G2, this is the resume builder right here. You say, look at me, I am LCS caliber, I belong on a team. And right now, that's a strong statement for Lulex and Blanc because they are crushing the competition.
Oh, completely. Now, goal lead for G2 as well. Let's see it again. So Lulex comes in, just lane ganking, knowing, okay, you have a strong Orianna here, and Betsy needs to flash away, but I just love the reaction from G2. Instantly going aggressive, ulting on Pride Stalker as well. He doesn't repel the actual shockwave. Takes the full damage, and on the way down, it's easy for Lulex to finish him. So Blanc right now, with the build we just talked about, so strong here in the early game, and of course, Lulex helping him out. 3 kills for G2 now.
And Pride Stalker last game was the farming Elise. We didn't like it. This time he's the dying Elise. That's something else we're not a big fan of. This has been a rough road so far for Pride Stalker. Maybe it's stage jitters. It is his first game on stage, but at least he will get his team back the Infernal Drake. And that is going to be something that ROCCAT can rely on as they move later in the game.
Yeah, good for them to actually pick up that Infernal Drake. Level 7 bot lane. Malzahar ulti is available. You have Shen ulti as well. Problem is that Sendo is always saving TP. He's not using it back to lane. He wants to use it bot lane in case a fight breaks out. But if you are ROCCAT, much like the last game, you are the team who's looking to make plays early in mid game. G2 are happy with the team fight in the late game.
Betsy now just continues to push the wave, but at a level disadvantage, clearly already very far behind in this matchup.
And also a bit of a problem with Lucian here is Hexdrinker. Let's see bot lane.
Ult comes out, Chain CC goes in, the trap connects as well. Fjarnan just continuing to walk forward. That's an exhaust onto Sven. In goes Pride Stalker. Cocoon connects onto Mithy. Body blocks for his brother in arms. No one drops here, but ROCCAT now pressuring the tower. Sven ult is available.
It's good though to get that play in the bottom lane for ROCCAT to try and get some damage to tower.
Flash forward, Mithy wants to keep the ball rolling. In comes the Galio. In goes the Kha'Zix. Shen is on the way too, but Lulex is going to stealth up. Sendo is not going to be able to connect the taunt, but does manage to get it onto 2. Now Hjarnan is going down. G2 are in control. Leap forward. Mithy keeps the plays coming. The CC is on point. The double drops for Blanc, and it's all too easy as G2 find the collapse.
G2 eSports with 3 subs showing some great coordination right here. Had every member ready to fight in the bottom lane. They're straight onto this tower here.
Foxy, this is definitely not where he wants to be. He's hoping to get a kill back. Does get the taunt onto Mithy. Will get the 1-for-1, but that is not what they need right now.
No, ROCCAT, you are the team who needs to make plays early on. Your Lucian is 0-2 in the mid lane. Delayed Blade of the Ruin King due to the Hexdrinker as well. And this Orianna is getting so fed as well. Like Blanc now will get a kill on Betsy while the engage happens bot lane into TP. This is actually G2 being a step ahead of ROCCAT making this play. And obviously with ROCCAT pushing so far up and having no way out, they end up losing so many members. 4 in the end when Foxy goes down.
Looking at Blanc in that play, he just absolutely outclassed Betsy there. finds the 1v1. No one else is helping. He just kills the Lucian by himself and then goes in to back the team up after that. Great damage coming in from both the Orianna and the Kazakhs in that fight. Sven and Mithy helped the team out to a certain degree, definitely with the CC, but these substitute players are coming in big.
This Orianna is going to be so fit.
Dude,
Luden's Echo coming in is going to be there very soon. I just want to see how much gold he's actually sitting on. So 500 gold now.
And Morel Namicon with 100 AP is already so strong. You get the Ludens too this early.
But you're winning bot lane right now as well.
Wadid now in trouble. Sven, no hesitation. He's got the blade. That means he finds the fight. Every lane now going in the favor of G2.
Yeah, this is the lane we know we can trust in with Mithy and Sven. We didn't expect mid and jungle to outplay Betsy Pridestalker in this game here. Every lane is doing well for G2 eSports. And they showed in the last game how they can actually play the late game, at least stall the late game if needed. This game they need to show they can just snowball with the subs.
Oh, Sven though taking a lot of poke, make it a lot more difficult. In comes the TP. Potentially a desperation play for ROCCAT.
I think that's a good call with desperation, yeah. They had no one
not gonna get anything. I thought maybe we'll see an aggressive move from Foxy, but really no options.
No, they made that play also with Wadid still being dead. You know, he just spawned in base. He's the main CC you need to actually force a play like that. So now top lane tower is open. ROCCAT trying to get this bot lane tower.
Mithy looking to creep. Just going to do his best to clear out the way. Foxy now locked up. In goes Lulex. Paul is attached. Not going to be the delivery system because Wadid says no. Shockwave goes wide. This could be the edge ROCCAT need, but the Orianna is oh so fed. Betsy not playing scared though. They keep pushing forward for a bit more.
Foxy going to top lane now. Ulti's ready soon for him in case another fight breaks out. He is level 11, so lower cooldown. G2 defending, so two bot lane towers being very low. Top lane tower though, I think it's going to go down in time before Foxy shows up.
And no TP to get back to lane, just the stand united, meaning he can't do anything to help the tower, only to help his teammates. And G2 just continue to snowball the game. 8-1. Gonna get the tower first blood as well. 5K gold lead. We wanted to see faster play from ROCCAT, but we're getting way faster play from G2 this time around.
I mean, we saw ROCCAT try and play faster, but then fail the execution on basically every single play they've tried in this game. Starting with Betsy wasting summoners into some plays around mid lane and then bot lane right after. And good for G2. I mean, imagine a world where they actually managed to get a 2-1 victory today with 3 subs. Like, this was supposed to be ROCCAT getting off to a great start and obviously getting a win that most teams will not be getting, because then G2 will be back with the full roster for week 2. And it's important in this group here, you know, they're with teams like Fnatic and Misfits and NIP as well, fighting for playoff spots.
This is just, oh, it's hard for ROCCAT. Losing out to these substitutes right now. And they can redeem themselves. They still have time left to come back in this game. Maybe they can come back in game 3 as well if G2 are able to take it. But
and it's a European Classic with redeeming ourselves.
Oh, yes.
That we can start doing, you're saying that for like every team. Because now we can click off G2.
We have a history of redemption. Yeah. It's true.
You know, redemption is already done for G2. Next in line. Who is it? Is it ROCCAT? Is it Fnatic?
Did Alliance ever redeem themselves for the Kaboom thing?
No, Alliance actually never did redeem themselves because they didn't. They became Elements and they became super mediocre. And they just disappeared now.
All right, well, Hjarnan not making some solid plays yet, but the Kazakhs immediately locked up. That's a good start back for ROCCAT. Wadid now running to safety, will deliver the Shen in. Mithy's the one stunned. Sven trying to dish out the damage, but here comes the heroic entrance. Sendo getting the knockup. Sven the only source of damage right now. Betsy coming in as well. Orianna on the way down. ROCCAT have to respect it.
Get 2 kills though. Blind coming in a bit late as well. Couldn't join the fight in time. Very important for ROCCAT to pick up a few kills and stop the bleeding in this game here. 2 kills on Hjarnan now, and Vintage already completed. Another Drake is available. Drakus. Blank, he's a level up and he's looking for Betsy.
That's a lot of damage. Attack in, dissonance, protect, bring it back. And Betsy not too happy with the way those trades are going. Can't even go through the little tunnel there. Risks getting hit out. Sven getting aggressive though. Moving forward. Stormmaker Surge procs. It allows him to run in. I wondered why he picked in. Now we see why, but has to be careful. Voidling's coming in. Doran's shield going to keep the regen coming. Blade of the Rune King making it easy as well. Nice pickup for Sven.
He just walked towards him and started auto-attacking.
I wanted to talk about Stormmaker's Surge earlier, but we didn't get the chance. But now I see why it's good.
All right, this is engaged bot lane with 3. So it looks like a 3v3, but there is, of course, a Shen ulti I think G2 forgot about for a second.
I think Lulek's not respecting necessarily the Malzahar as well. Causing's a lot less scary when there's not an Orianna ball attached to him.
This call was basically just disrespecting Shen ulti. It's not a 3v3. It's obviously going to be 4 with him joining in, and Blank wasn't nearby to actually join the fight. He's the Fed member. So that call got punished by ROCCAT 100%, but then right after, it actually just got turned around because Sven literally walked at Yanan and killed him. And we actually see Storm Raiders on a lot of champions now, just because that little burst of movement speed is so important in some of these fights.
The reduction on slows, too, just makes it so easy to chase anybody. Even the Caitlyn, who might try to net to safety, can't really get away from you reliably. Now Sven working towards that second item. So looks like it may be not the important topic right now. Galio's caught out. Chain CC layered down. Trap going to connect. Everything put together perfectly. ROCCAT with a solid pickup. Oh, but more. Blanc now in trouble. Blends out, takes the Lantern to safety, but ROCCAT now on the front foot, now putting the pressure down on the map, and G2 are going to be the ones forced to respond, and Sven, he's got plans of his own, using the Pugma, pushing forward, looking to break a tower.
I mean, classic split pushing AD carry, learning from Reckless up in the top lane. Foxy's on his way though, but so is Lulek. He's sneaking around that top side to maybe try and rush down tower. Yanan getting bot lane, and this game is a lot faster, a lot more fun as well here the first 20 minutes.
Gotta say, not waiting for ROCCAT to sort it out. G2 are the ones setting the pace this time, but ROCCAT are keeping up. At least for now. They're still at a deficit, but only 3K now. They're doing their best to minimize it. They're getting a couple of fights in their favor, and now Sven can't be too aggressive to push this one in. Has to respect Pride Stalker and Radid here.
Slow down, Drake. Slow it down.
I know.
This is obviously a game where the winner will be crowned the second best team in the world.
Best.
If we got to follow that logic.
Assuming Korea only sends one team to the event.
Yeah, sure.
And
okay.
Against not the full roster, but the second best team.
The second best team at MSI.
There you go.
Which is the world. Until Worlds.
Is a world championship, yes.
We just saw SKT lose in Korea, so I guess Samsung technically is the best team in the world right now. I've asked big questions on Twitter. Will Longshu win Worlds? Will Ever 8 win Worlds? Will Samsung win Worlds?
I've asked the Ever 8 question before.
It's probably a no.
No, yeah.
It's guaranteed a no.
These are the questions that keep me up at night, though. I know. These are the things I wonder.
I bought into some of the hype from Papa Smithy, I remember, with Ever, when they joined the LCK for the first time. And like week 1, when they won, he was like, this team, you know, I believe in these guys. I'm like, I believe in them too when he believes in them. And then they lost almost every game right after, and it was really bad.
I mean, they did win.
And they played Bard.
The Casper Cup.
They also played Bard.
And for those of you who don't know, Key is the OG Bard god. Unfortunately, he only plays Bard. So it wasn't the end-all, be-all of support players.
So our Ever could be ROCCAT, could be G2. From this game, we don't actually know. ROCCAT right now managed to get a few kills back. They're still down 4K gold, and the scaling is still quite scary on G2's side.
So with respect to Kog'Maw, working towards that second item, and unlike Caitlyn, he's not really gated by these power spikes. Does just get stronger and stronger pretty reliably with every item. Gwynsu's especially could be pretty scary.
Good play around mid, because Sven is constantly just pushing that top lane, allowing ROCCAT to actually make plays elsewhere on the map without an AD carry being nearby. So Yanan getting some free damage on tower. But once again, notice, Dracos, European Caitlyn's all building Hurricane still. Pride Stalker getting caught.
Pride Stalker not going to get taunted up. Betsy going to flash to safety to keep it going. Pride Stalker now running for his life, but does get locked down. Blanc unstoppable now, 5-0 and 2. G2 with the mid lane tower in their sights.
It was supposed to be ROCCAT getting that mid lane tower.
Oh, goodbye, Betsy. Lulek's going to grab that one. Hook going to go wide. G2 just going to grab it.
It was supposed to be ROCCAT getting a mid tower and then just stepping away, but Pride Stalker got caught. He died, lost the mid tower, lost the mid lane AD carry as well, and Baron is being started 23 minutes in.
Pride Stalker dead, Betsy dead, Foxy on the bottom side of the map. Not a whole lot of options to stop this one, and that means at 23 minutes, G2 are all set to secure the Baron. Let's still giving some respect over to Wadid. Suppression stopping from doing much of anything, but the casual start here will cancel a couple recalls. Does get it in the end.
Oh, mid lane. I think Yanan's going aggressive. Yanan died. He killed Blanc.
Oh, got Blanc, 1 for 1. Now Foxy's running for his life, Baron-empowered minions. Lantern comes in. Foxy not at all where he wants to be. This is going to set G2 up to just control the map. Leaps right into the taunt, and now Sven's on a killing spree.
Yeah, I think Yanan went super aggressive with the Shen ult to try and get something back. After you can see the dead Caitlyn right there behind the mid lane tower. Okay, Blanc wanted to wave clear. Yanan nearby, calls for the Shen ulti.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, that's one of those situations where...
Let's remember Orianna is like super fit in this game.
Definitely. Normally that would not go that way, but Blanc, of course, been putting on an all-star performance. Foxy doing, well, his best.
So, G2 sitting with Baron now. ROCCAT have to find a way back in this game, and with their composition, it's really difficult. Most of your champions are getting outscaled by the champions on the other side, like Lucian mid compared to Orianna. I take the Orianna late game. Galio late game over Shen, I'll take it. Sven on a hyper carry in the late game as well. Betsy will get a tower, but you can see the rest of G2, they're already pushing mid and bot lane. They don't care about losing that one tower.
They're going to grab this tier 2 quite easily. Garnet going to do his best to hold on, but the Baron and power just makes it...
And you meant the bot lane tier 2.
I did mean the bot lane tier 2. I mean, they're just going to grab towers. This is the power of the Baron, and they can't really hold the towers inside of ROCCAT. Don't have the strength right now. 6k difference, or rather 5k difference between the two teams.
And your mid lane Lucian, a pick Europe still seems to like, has dealt the least damage in this game. Except for the Thresh, second least.
Wow. Grim spot to be in. Half-hearted effort to engage on the side of ROCCAT. Foxy takes so much poke, can't afford to go back in. G2 just going to walk down the tower. Now set their sights on the inhibitor. So a decent amount of poke coming in on the side of ROCCAT. Going to stop them from going any further. Wadid flashes in, tries to lock down the Kha'Zix. Out comes a decent amount of damage. There's the shockwave. Sendo going to keep the team alive. Foxy locked up. That's the double kill coming in for Blanc. He's on a tear. Now wants to leap forward for more. He wants his highlight reel moment. Not going to find it there, but will survive as the inhibitor drops.
G2 now might even look to try and finish the game. 20 seconds on Wadid right now. Only 3 guys alive from ROCCAT.
Oh, Betsy running to his death. Not what he needed, but it does mean that Blanc's going to drop. Garnet doing his best to hold on. Tower defense, the name of the game for ROCCAT. Soccer getting
it's on a trap.
Decent amount of damage coming in, but he's going to go back for the hook. The chain CC comes in, and down goes the Caitlyn. Sven now unstoppable. Oh, he's just going to walk it down. Bradstocker. All right, I thought I was going to say dogs beat spiders, but spiders, quite slippery, can't escape. And this is just...
It's actually fun. It's 26 minutes in, and we said game 2, if you follow the trend of yesterday, much faster, much more action. It's been, exactly what we hoped for. I just expected it to be more in favor of ROCCAT.
I thought ROCCAT were going to crush this game.
But it's G2 now who's been winning almost every single skirmish and making some good calls with, of course, Mithy leading them.
And we have to praise Blanc roaming up to help Lulex. We have to praise Lulex for his aggressive pathing into the jungle. These are the guys that set the team up for success, and now the rest of the team more than happy to just bring it home.
Yep.
Mithy did not block the Caitlyn ultimate. That was a bit awkward, but team still comes out on top in the end.
And then they step on traps. It's all a bait. Yana gets caught, and they actually get another kill on the way out.
Sven tries to walk it down.
So double buff now on Sven. Still on him, I believe. Might not be on for long. We see the ROCCAT coaching staff, a sports psychologist, Freddy the assistant coach, and of course Grabs, the head coach. A lot to think about right now if you are ROCCAT.
And to be fair, on a new team, if you're going to lose games, you want to lose them in the early weeks. Now, you never want to lose them, of course, to a team fielding substitute rosters.
But you do want to lose them to G2. So
that's fair.
In that way...
But really, when you think about it, if you want to find it, if there's times where you want to identify weaknesses, help your teams grow, this is it. However, you definitely didn't want to see it happen like this, with G2 just completely dominating despite what is essentially a completely different roster.
In case new viewers have joined, the reason they are playing with these subs, Expect and Trick got some holiday after MSI, they're in Korea, and Perks has fallen sick, unable to play this week. Sendo, he's unkillable as we highlighted in Champ Select with this Galio.
Backing off with a decent amount of chain CC. Sendo, will he fall? Flash available.
He's killable.
Nope. Still going to get taken down. Flashes out. But meanwhile, Sven and the rest of the team just going to break open this tower. ROCCAT, maybe they can find it and engage, but the tower's already gone. Foxy running forward. No flash available on that one. He can't really afford to walk face first into the Orianna and the Cogma.
Youngbug and Duffman sitting and watching for G2.
Love that name.
It's a great name. It's one of the things I miss about The Simpsons. Even though they're still making seasons, I haven't actually watched anything in like...
What are you talking about?
10 years. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they don't make any new seasons.
I definitely stopped at whatever point we all remember it being good from our childhood.
Season 16 or something? I don't know, around that time probably.
Ooh. This is the terrifying point for Kog'Maw, too. Yeah, he's not that crit hyperscaling carry, but he does have a lot of on-hit effects. Runans, Blade of the Rune King, Gwinsu's, even the defensive item now to back it up. 5-0-6. Then absolutely crushing the game. And
how about the 8-2-6 Orianna?
Yeah, the 8-2-6 Orianna, set up, of course, by the 3-1-7 Kha'Zix. This completely different than the last game. It's ROCCAT who turned it on after the 20-minute mark and just started making play after play after play, and now it's G2 grinding this game out.
We've seen 2 Lucian mids in Europe so far. One yesterday from Splice. It did absolutely nothing other than die early game, fall behind. We've seen one today from Betsy. Kind of same story. Fell behind early, couldn't really have an impact in the game. It is a pick where if you have a great start, you can just be super, super hard to play against because you have great amount of damage, you have mobility, you can split push, you can actually skirmish extremely well. But when you fall behind, you are, after all, an AD carry. And AD carries, when they are behind, they tend to not do a whole lot.
Although, to be fair, Caitlyn, an AD carry who is comfortable to scale up even if the Lucian is not, and she has that 3-item point, does have the Last Whisper as well. So maybe this game will not be about Betsy, but it could be about Hjarnan.
Yeah, I don't think this game is about Betsy at all. I think it's only about Betsy if he gets off to a good start. As soon as you lose the early game as Lucian, you have to just look to your other carries. And in this game, the only other carry is Hjarnan. But as we had with Sven in the last game, he's against a Galio sitting right in front of him in the start of the fight. You're not really going to hit anyone else for most of the fight, and then you see your front line die, and then you're left alone.
Just a terrifying spot to be. You have to respect the hook, the potential Kha'Zix with the ball attached,
the taunt,
the follow-up engage from a Galio with that heroic entrance. Pride Stalker now in trouble. Sven just going to QSS out, trying to run down the damage. Spider goes up. Ooh, timing a little bit off there. Pride Stalker going to make it out in the end, but does burn his flash.
See the Storm Raiders again. It's like so easy for Sven to get enough damage down early to get some extra mobility, to just keep chasing, and you just keep landing W-empowered autos again and again and again.
Well, G2 going to do their best to take this one. Can they get it? No. Lulex is going to secure it now. ROCCAT have to back off, have to respect this. G2 not going to push for anything more. Happy to just take the Baron in this exchange. Hjarnan throwing down a bit of pokes.
One of the good things about having Metis still here. And of course Sven as well, who's actually a very vocal AD carry, which is not always the case. Hard to kind of call things for your team and focus on the micro things, but just like with double the TSM. He's dead.
That's a lot of damage. Kog'Maw gonna drop. Shut down now. Solid pick for ROCCAT.
That was a nice little engagement with
Just laugh spammed.
I know, he just came out of nowhere. That was actually a really sneaky play.
I've never seen a man take so much joy in killing a dog. That's a little messed up, Wadid. Come on.
To be fair, though, he needs to win this game.
League of Legends.
In League of Legends. In League of Legends, not real life.
For everyone.
In League of Legends.
Moving forward.
That was a sneaky play, though.
I mean, I did not see that coming. I thought they would for sure they'd back off. That's what we expect from most of the teams.
Yeah, all of G2 went back to base.
Found the opportunity, though, and that means it's going to be much harder for G2 to press the advantage on the Baron buff. Of course, all they bought is time. It's not a big enough advantage to turn the game back in their favor, but it does mean this Baron won't be quite so terrifying.
Can they get something else? Fakti is in base with TP and home guards. Problem is there's no ulti from Wadid, so he's kind of useless unless he gets the ulti ready and can actually use it in the fight. Flash is down, that's key as well. Mazar tends to run out of targets very quickly because you don't want to use it on the tank at first, but then you realize later on you have to use it on the tank because you can't really get to anyone else, and you use it on the Galio, and then you trap the Galio, and maybe you can kill him. It's always a different.
A lot to say there, Deficient. I mean, you know what?
You know, when you play Malzahar, you're just like, oh, I'm seeing, you know, that flash engage on the fed Orianna. She can't cleanse it. We're gonna burst her. I'm the hero. Everyone praises me. They lift him up, you know, after the win.
Wadid.
It's all about Wadid. And then you try and get in close enough. Your passive gets procced. You end up taking a shockwave to the face, and you're like, well, couldn't get in range.
Rough play.
And then you just ult the Galio.
And then people are cheering your name for a very different reason. Oh, Sven. A lot of damage coming in. Still have to respect the ultimate coming in for Betsy. Body blocks all around Sven. Now Blanc, Lulex, they may have set up the early game, but protecting Sven now seems like the course of action for G2.
There we go. You see what he did. He's seeing it right in front of him. He's stepping forward. No flash from him. And really, if you go on Sven, QSS is there, you kind of need to go on blank. It needs to be more than just a normal CC because defense is available.
Betsy taking a lot of damage. Stormmeter Surge procced up. Fender's gonna walk forward, but does tank a trap. That's a ton of damage. Caitlyn. Big crits, big hits. Wadid in trouble.
What did I say? You get the shockwave.
He saw it to fish
You get the shockwave. Oh, that's the no flash Malzahar life.
Sad days on the side for Wadid. Now G2 just going to like to keep sieging it up, although they keep tanking these traps. And really have to respect the damage coming in from Garnet, but what? Multiple members, all 5 strong.
Yeah, that was 100% on purpose from Sven. Sorry, from Mythic to just actually have an opening for Sven to step in and kill the tower.
Flash forward, taunt in. There's going to be a taunt back in return. Decent damage now going on to Sendo. Betsy can't get into the middle of the fight. Garnet is already dead, and G2 just going to clean that one up. Double kill comes in for the Kog'Maw. Pride Stalker holding on, but that may be the final nail in the coffin for this game for the side of ROCCAT.
Pushing in for this one. They definitely deserve to win this game here. G2 played so well in the early game with the 3 subs. Just Blank. And, of course, Lulex winning that mid lane.
Goodbye, little spider. Pride Stalker leaps out. Does manage to get a kill back on the Blanc, though. At least a little bit of revenge, a little bit of stat padding, but that's G2 striking back in this best of 3.
9-3-10, Orianna in the mid lane. Definitely a good performance from Blank here, showing up on the LCS stage.
You can see why PSG opted to pick him up. That's some mechanical talent there, besting an LCS mid laner.
Lulex helping him, and Sendo on Galio doing his job top lane. We can't really say anything bad about his performance.
And I like him on tanks, you know?
Definitely keep putting him on things like Galio. Your carries will be the mid laner and the AD carry if you are G2. The Shen pick was, as we talked about, hard to really use. Because 1 or 2 bad ultis, and then,
It's when you look at Galio's kit, and you see massive taunt that can hit multiple people. Okay, Shen has that. Also a knock-up. Also tons of extra damage.
Yep.
It feels just like Galio came out on top there, but G2 has now come back to tie the series in Game 2. Shox and the guys are ready to break down the action.
Much Drake as well. There we go, G2. They did get a win on the board with their 3 subs, and a lot of it was due to their 3 subs, I think, and especially the mid-jungle combo, Lulex and Blanc. They really found their roam, and they decided, well, hey, there is more playmaking potential on Blanc. There is an Orianna. Let's try and make something happen in the early game.
Exactly. They kind of look at the fact that, okay, we criticize both teams for not doing anything. Well, G2 said, well, if we start doing things with our mid-jungle synergy, it can work out, and we want to take a little bit of a look at some of the early game plays that Lulex and Blanc set up in the first few minutes of the game, especially that first blood coming through. Important roam out from the mid lane for Blanc to help out Lulex. The casters were talking a lot about this and how Lulex checks into Pride Stalker, takes the cocoon full combo, normally means that Elise should win this trade, but the fact that already Blanc is out of the lane, doesn't even take the shortcut through across the catwalk. Betsy just wasn't quite there to react in time, and this was the first instance that we saw that G2 had adapted from game 1.
And you can see that the pressure just continued. The thing about the Lucian into the Lucian into the Orianna matchup is typically, as Lucian, you want to be trying to be in the Orianna's face, very reminiscent to what we saw at MSI, where Faker really struggled against the powerhouse of a Lucian getting those early kills. So you want to be playing forward in the lane, and so Lulex, he prepared for that. Not only was he moving into the enemy jungle to put himself in a position where he could counter that, but he was also posturing around the lane, waiting for the Lucian to dash in, and then he saw an opportunity to punish, and that's how they decided to get Blanc rolling.
I was surprised that it was a Lucian pick for Betsy here. I think he works so much better on picks that, okay, they have been nerfed, but he's always succeeded on like the Ryze, the Swain, the Vlad, these types of picks, whereas Lucian, a little bit more focused on snowballing and actually having that impact you're talking about in the laning phase to try and control an Orianna, and that doesn't really feel like a pick he's ever found comfort with to me.
Yeah, maybe not a real Betsy-esque pick, but it was only 1 game, so maybe they have had success with it. Also, Pride Stalker, yeah, he is struggling to find kind of his vibe on the Rift, isn't he? He's had a couple of I can't say uncharacteristics. I just can't say it, period. But it's not that we have so much history on this player, but it does seem that the jitters are getting to him a bit, or he's trying to adjust.
It's reminiscent of the inconsistency that we were talking about earlier on in the day when we did see him perform in Challenger. You'd have games where he would be immensely dominant, he was invading all the time, he was finding ganks all over the map, he was just fully controlling the game, and then other times he was just sitting in his jungle, having his entire jungle taken away from him. And I do think that it's largely just an experience issue. He's still new to the pro scene. He's still developing his understanding of where to be on the map, when to take advantage of the positioning of his teammates, constantly trying to understand the positioning of his opponent. Like, there are so many little things that he's still trying to process, and it's resulting in these inconsistencies that we are seeing from the first 2 games of the split.
And where we saw Pride Stalker succeed on his previous team, Misfits Academy, was pairing with CosQ. The mid-jungle synergy was very strong between those two, and they would snowball very effectively in Challenger, but I don't know whether Betsy is just that different style of player, as we talked about already, or whether it just hasn't had enough time. Maybe that's where we see Pride Stalker have an impact in a couple of weeks' time when ROCCAT have gelled a little bit more.
Yeah, but to zone in on G2 a bit more as the winning team in this game, they did manage to snowball their advantage quite heavily as we take a look at the next replay where they get a bunch of kills bottom lane.
Yeah, I think it's worth highlighting the Blanc having a fantastic game as well. He zones out Betsy at the start of this fight, but you could see that G2, they were very prepared to punish ROCCAT as they try to set up this siege. ROCCAT felt very confident knowing that they had a Shen in their backline, that they could just force down this tower, especially with the Caitlyn behind them. But G2 demonstrating that even though they don't have proper practice as a unit and they don't have the same level of communication that they do on their main roster, they still understand how to take advantage of these small positioning errors, and their ability to force these fights was fantastic in this game.
Yeah, that it was. Sven, fantastic game as Pugwa. And I actually didn't know that it barked. He barked. The doggy barked that many times.
Yeah, it does bark a lot. And I'm grateful, personally, because Sven is getting me fantasy points, which means that Trevor's getting trashed. He's going to be absolutely demolished this week, and it's all thanks to that superstar 80 carry. So he just needs to keep performing this well. It'd be wonderful if he just gets a couple more kills and maybe play more Pug more.
Does anyone have Blanc? No, because that would be like, you have to see through the future. But he did have a fantastic game on Orianna, which was a big part of why G2 won this game.
Yeah, a pick that he can play a controlling style in the mid lane, have big impact, and it's just a pick that every mid laner should be comfortable on right now, right? There are so few lanes that can actually bully her, especially when one of them theoretically isn't necessarily being so aggressive. So I think Blanc is a mid laner that when Challenger starts back up will have this big impact. I'm looking forward to seeing the PSG lineup where Blanc will return to actually have that impact, because this is a guy that has a lot of experience internationally now. I want to see what he can do for a regular split.
I think it's, you made a great point earlier when we were discussing that he seemed a lot more comfortable playing this Orianna. When we saw him on the Karma, he just didn't seem to be used to playing around a single player. He seems to be the individual that is about trying to make plays himself, trying to be a carry, and we saw a lot of that in his final series against Fnatic Academy. So I think G2 needs to continue putting him on these kind of control majors so that he can have a more comfortable and better performance on stage.
Or just an all-in champion, not just a control mage.
Maybe. I think that the safer aspect that you're talking about is something we'll also see reflected again for Sendo in the top lane. Game 1 Rumble, tricky champion to make work as a team with a little less experience. Galio, very forgiving. All you got to do is find a target, jump in. Still tricky, but Sendo looked a lot better in Game 2, and I think that's something it can draft towards in Game 3.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. ROCCAT, they do have one more chance to take down the reigning champions when we return for Game 3 after the break.